Time for the next story in my naughty little sistery. I said my naughty little sistery. My naughty little sistery, a treasury collection. Maybe it should just be called my naughty little sistery. They don't need to have a treasury collection if you put sistery. Anyway, it's written by Dorothy Edwards, illustrated by Shirley Hughes. When my sister was a naughty little girl, she was a very, very inquisitive child. She was always looking and peeping into things that didn't belong to her. She used to open other people's cupboards and boxes just to find out what was inside. Aren't you glad you aren't inquisitive like that? Well now, one day a lot of workmen came to dig up all the roads near our house, and my little sister was very interested in them. They were very nice men, but some of them had rather loud, shouty voices sometimes. They were shoveling men and picking men, and men with jumping about things that went ah, and men who drank tea out of jam pots, and men who cooked sausages over fires. And there was an old man who sat up all night when the other men had gone home, and who had a lot of coats and scarves to keep him warm. There were lots of things for my little inquisitive sister to see. There were heaps of earth and red lanterns for the old man to light at night time, and long poley things to keep people from falling down the holes in the road, and the workmen's huts, and many other things. When the workmen were in our road, my little sister used to watch them every day. She used to lean over the gate and stare and stare. But when they were off to the next road, she didn't see so much of them. Well now, I will tell you about the inquisitive thing my naughty little sister did one day, shall I? Yes, well, do you remember Bad Harry, who was my little sister's best boyfriend? Do you? I thought you did. Now, this Bad Harry came one day to ask my mother if my little sister could go round to his house to play with him. And as Bad Harry's house wasn't far away, and as there were no roads to cross, my mother said my little sister could go. So my little sister put on her hat and her coat and her scarf and her gloves, because it was a cold, nasty day, and went off with her best boyfriend to play with him. They hurried along like good children until they came to the workmen in the next road. And then they went slow as slow, because there were so many things to see. They looked at this and at that, and when they got past the workmen, they found a very curious thing. By the road there was a tall hedge, and under the tall hedge there was a mackintoshy bundle. Now this mackintoshy bundle hadn't anything to do with Bad Harry, and it hadn't anything to do with my naughty little sister. Yet, do you know, they were so inquisitive that they stopped and looked at it. They had such a good look at it that they had to get right under the hedge to see. And when they got very near it, they found it was an old mackintosh wrapped round something or other inside. Weren't they naughty? They should have gone straight home to Bad Harry's mother's house, shouldn't they? But they didn't. They stayed and looked at the mackintoshy bundle. And they opened it. They really, truly did. It wasn't their bundle, but they opened it wide under the hedge. And do you know what was inside it? I know you aren't an inquisitive, meddlesome child, but would you like to know? Well, inside the bundle, there were lots and lots of parcels and packages tied up in red handkerchiefs and brown paper a newspaper, and instead of putting them back again like nice children, those little horrors started to open all those parcels. And inside those parcels, there were lots of things to eat. There were sandwiches and cakes and meat pies and cold cooked fish and eggs and goodness knows what all. Weren't those bad children surprised? They couldn't think how all those sandwiches and things could have got into the old Macintosh. Then Bad Harry said, "Shall we eat some?" You remember he was a greedy lad. But my little sister said, "No, it's picked up food." My little sister knew that my mother had told her never, never to eat picked up food. You see, she was good about that. Only she was very bad after that because she said, "I know, let's play with it." So they took out all those sandwiches and cakes and meat pies and cold cooked fish and eggs, and they laid them out across the path and made them into pretty patterns on the ground. Then Bad Harry threw a sandwich at my little sister, and she threw a meat pie at him. And they began to have a lovely game. And then, do you know what happened? A big, roary voice called out, "What are you doing with our dinners, you monkeys, you?" And there was a big workman coming towards them looking so cross and angry that those two bad children screamed and screamed, and because the workman was so roary, they turned and ran back down the road. And the big workman ran after them as cross. Weren't they frightened? When they got back to where the other roadmen were digging, those children were more frightened than ever because the big workman shouted to all the workmen all about what those naughty children had done with their dinners. Yes, those poor workmen had put all their dinners under the hedge in the old Macintosh to keep them dry and safe until dinner time. As well as being frightened, Bad Harry and my naughty little sister were very ashamed. They were so ashamed that they did a most silly thing. When they heard the big workman telling the others about their dinners, those silly children ran and hid themselves in one of the pipes that the workmen were putting in the road. My naughty little sister went first, and old Bad Harry after her. Because my naughty little sister was so frightened, she wriggled in and in the pipe, and Bad Harry came wriggling after her because he was frightened too. And then a dreadful thing happened to my naughty little sister. That Bad Harry stuck in the pipe, and he couldn't get any farther. He was quite a round, fat boy, you see, and he stuck fast in the pipe. Then didn't those sillies howl and howl? My little sister howled because she didn't want to go on and on down the roadmen's pipes on her own. And Bad Harry howled because he couldn't move at all. It was all terrible, of course. But the roary workman rescued them very quickly. He couldn't reach Bad Harry with his arm, but he got a long hooky iron thing and he hooked it in Bad Harry's belt. And he pulled, and presently he pulled Bad Harry out of the pipe. Wasn't it a good thing they had the hooky iron? And wasn't it a good thing that Bad Harry had a strong belt on his coat? When Bad Harry was out, my little sister wriggled back and came out too. And when she saw all the poor workmen who wouldn't have any dinner, she cried, and she told them what a sorry girl she was. She told the workmen that she and Bad Harry hadn't known the Macintoshy bundle was their dinners. And Bad Harry said he was sorry too, and they were so really truly ashamed that the big workman said, "Well, never mind this time. It's payday today, so we can all send the boy for fish and chips instead." And he told my little sister not to cry any more. So my little sister stopped crying, and she and Bad Harry both said they would never, never meddle and be inquisitive again.
Oh boy, that was naughty.
However, some kinds of inquisitive are excellent to be, just not the kind where you get into other people's stuff, right? But I like inquisitive children.
Oh. Well, we're getting pretty excited. It's almost the end of school. No more online learning after about, I think we have 3 weeks. Less than that. More, wait, maybe 2.5 by the time I post this. But anyway, so this is not the MCPS channel. This is my own channel. So hit subscribe, because I'm going to still post stuff for you guys over the summer, because I don't know what you'll be doing. You might need more fun things. So it'll be Cairns Camp 2020, free, for fun. And we'll just be silly. All right. Catch you next time. Bye.